Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Jess Cunningham. Now, you may know Jess from her appearance in the Apprentice series in 2016, and she also went on to be on the Celebrity Big Brother in 2017. But having known Jess now for a couple of years, she is one of those kick-ass girl power women that I absolutely love, and she has a real passion around helping female entrepreneurs with her recent launch of her Conscious Female Entrepreneurs Club. She really does bring out the best version of yourself, and her answer to most people's success is your mindset. She is a mindset guru. She has helped me with kind of like anxiety and managing anxiety in the past, and I'm so super excited to be interviewing her today on Your Freedom Podcast. So, hi Jess, I'm really pleased that I've managed to pin you down and get you on this podcast, because I know we met, I was working it out recently, 2 years ago that we met at a Females in Power event, because something came up on my memories on Facebook. So 2 years since I originally met you, so it's fab that you've spared me the time when you're literally about to give birth, and it's your birthday tomorrow. So.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I can't believe it's literally been 2 years. It's absolutely crazy. And since we met, and also like now I'm literally about to embark working with you. Well, now you've become a master for the Conscious Female Entrepreneurs platform, and also you're going to be coaching me to become an Amazon bestseller. So I can't wait.
So it's all about synergy, isn't it? I think you meet people and you have got that synergy, and it just, in fact, those relationships are just easy, aren't they? That's how I find every time I talk to you. I feel like it's really easy conversation. So I set all this podcast. The podcast is Your Freedom Podcast, and we've got 3 pillars: freedom in love, which is all about self-care and self-love; freedom in money, and freedom in mind. Because those 3 things, over kind of like, I suppose, going through all my troubles, have given me equilibrium. Do you know what I mean? So self-care, looking after ourselves; financial freedom, because I don't care what anyone says, financial pressures is hell. So having financial freedom and abundance and all that, and also having a strong mindset. And mindset is one of those words I don't like using, because I think there's more to it, isn't there? Like with you, with your sort of spiritual stuff and the universe, and it's a deeper concept, but those are my 3 pillars. So I know your life hasn't been like an easy ride. You know, people probably see you on social media, on Instagram, who don't know you, and think, oh, she's got all this success, and, don't kind of realise maybe the challenges that you've had along the way. And obviously you're doing all the stuff with the Conscious Female Entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's really
it's quite a mouthful, isn't it?
And I think it's really, really inspiring. It's really good stuff. That I think it's awesome. I think it brings it all together, all the stuff that I kind of I just feel like it's really connected with me.
It's really aligned, isn't it, with it? Like, it's really aligned with who you are, what you do, and also the way you actually help people. You help them like financially, but also on a holistic, spiritual level.
Exactly. So it really fitted with what I'm kind of trying to do, the Freedom Podcast, because the reason I put this together, and it's amazing, we've had so many the downloads are really increasing now.
Yeah.
But the real reason I put it together was actually to help people who could be in a dark place, because when I was in a dark place, I felt that I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So hearing inspiring stories of maybe people who've had a few challenges along the way, but managed to turn it around. And it's not always money that's success, but just being able to get that freedom in the life and peace and sort of equilibrium, as I keep using that word.
I love that word. That's a great word to use.
I think it just helps people who could feel stuck right now. And obviously the last 12 months have been challenging for a lot of people. I felt really grateful because, I could have been I could have been in a domestic abuse situation still with my ex-husband through the lockdown, and I wasn't. Felt really grateful. And also I settled my online business back in 2013. So I've always been working from home. So I felt really grateful over this last 12 months. But I know that a lot of people listening to this could be stuck right now. So I just wanted to ask you, how did you get to the point where because I know obviously you did the apprentice thing, you were a Big Brother.
Don't mention that one, Anna.
But you're now obviously doing a lot around female entrepreneurs. And how did you I don't even know this, how you first sort of started out on the entrepreneurial path, really?
So my first days of entrepreneurship, I would say, was working at car boot sales with my dad, like a proper wheeler and dealer. And then when I was 16, I set up my first business. Well, I say first business. When you're 16, it's not really a real business, is it? It's like a little money maker. But I set something up in the local nightclub, pretended I was 18, selling pitch K-rings. And I literally went to the manager, pitched my idea. And at this time, you didn't have things like Canva, you didn't have like presentations. So I literally had to create this presentation in like a leather folder with like the plastic binders. And I presented to him to sell these pitch K-rings. And he was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, do it. Then I bought myself a printer, ordered some K-rings from China, and just literally got a camera on the tick because I had no money. And that's what really started me off on the entrepreneurial roller coaster. And ever since then, I've always really worked for myself. I've only had one job, and that was one or two jobs. One job. I've done little bits and bobs, but I always got bored within jobs, and I always went from one thing to another. And even now, I'd say I'm quite a project person. So I love doing project by project by project, rather than I'm just much more of a project person. But again, for a lot of years, I think when you work for yourself, it's drummed into you. They have to do one thing, and that's the only thing that you can do. Whereas actually, I look at my energy and how I feel. And if something doesn't feel right, if it feels out of alignment, I feel like that's the time or the place to move on and to grow. So I've always, and then 1 second. And then when I went on to The Apprentice, I had the fashion brand and my PR and marketing company. And then literally, I think I let the TV go to my head a little bit. I pratted around for about a year. And then we went through quite a bit of trauma. And that literally just brought me right back down to reality. And actually, the time when I feel most alive is when I'm doing business, when I'm working, when I'm focused. Whereas when I came off TV, I think because I was just chasing this fame, this validation, or I don't really know what it was, I lost my way massively. And then it was only really when we had a tragedy in the family that I was brought back down to reality. I thought, what the hell am I doing? And just kind of started finding myself more. And then myself is the true Jess, is the entrepreneur. The true Jess is the woman who gets stuck into business, gets stuck into work, as well as the mother. Not this fickle TV star chasing fame.
I think it's probably easy to do that. I think, like speaking to other people, because it's all that glitz and fame, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see how, well, it's like with everything that happened with Caroline Flack as well. It's just like really, I don't know, you can just see how it can absorb you and all I think that's the only thing I don't like about online is all the whole troll design of stuff, or keyboard warriors, because people are a lot braver when they're online writing stuff than they are face to face, even if it's not something massively harsh.
No.
Everything I've seen this last year with COVID, people are arguing about all their opinions, whereas actually if you're all in a room, people wouldn't be as harsh.
No.
And I think like the whole fame thing can actually, it's bound to kind of like get, because it's exciting in the end of the day.
It is. Yeah, and I think the thing is, you're thrown into this spotlight. Everyone loves you, and you have all this attention, but it completely and utterly goes to your head. Completely. Whereas and it's only really when you have something big happen that you slam back down to reality, and you're like, what? And you see it for what it is, and it's such a fickle industry. It's a really fun industry, but it's like full of low self-esteem. It's just. I think you have to have a really strong head to be in that industry. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I went into it, my head probably wasn't as strong. Well, and it definitely wasn't how I view things now and feel things now. Whereas now, with the TV stuff, the media stuff, I can give or take it. There's no desperation there. Whereas before I was like, I need this, I need that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's great to have had all that experience, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great to
It was fun.
what would you say then, like for people listening who could be going through a tough time at the moment, how do you manage to get through tough moments?
You have to search for the positives 100%. Like and I know some people listening to this will be thinking there's no positives to this situation. And I felt like that many times when, so when I was ages 4 to 8, I was sexually abused by a close family friend, and all my memories only came back when I was 29. And again, I was like, well, I just, at the time when everything came back, I was like, how the hell do you, how do you see the positive in that? Whereas now in hindsight, looking back, I made myself search for the positive because there was a reason why that happened. I know if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be Jess Cunningham, who I love. And it took me a long time to learn to like myself, yet alone love who I was. And then again, with the girl's father passing away, how do you find the positive in that? But again, it's kind of, if that wouldn't have happened, I would definitely have not done any healing. I would have been away with the fairies, chasing this fame again. Whereas that really brought me back down to reality. And I was like, what on earth am I doing? I need to step up as a mother. But before that happened, it was 2 weeks prior going into The Apprentice to film that my memories came back. So I think when all these memories came back, I just ran away from my responsibilities, ran away from everything. I didn't want to see anything. I really neglected my duties as a mother, as a person, really. And then when he passed away, I was like, it was the biggest reality shock. And I was like, I need to sort out, I need to work, like deal with what's happened. I need to process it. I need to work through it. So for anyone who is going through a really, really dark stage, you have to look for the positives, because if you don't look for the positives, the negatives will literally eat you up. And one of my favourite sayings is, sometimes the worst luck you can have can end up being the best luck that you've ever had.
Yeah.
It is so true.
I feel like that. Because I think it is that whole fear. I can't remember the definition of a quote that I shared recently, but it's like face everything, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And I really like that, because in times where I've like, you just want to pull the duvet over your face, you can't deal with the day, or in the past I was like that. Whereas now I think I've really risen, and it's like feels really empowering, and just like there's people that come to me and say thank you and all this kind of stuff, and I just feel like I'm making a difference now. And
you are.
I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been able, if I hadn't been through all of that, I wouldn't have been able to do this now. So it's exactly the same. Because I think I've been interviewing lots of different people on this podcast, with all sorts of different things that have happened. I interviewed Grant Cardone as well.
I know, I saw that. That's bloody amazing.
And so there's, loads of different characters, but everybody sort of says similar things when they've got something. Make it, you say it makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it is really, really so true. So,
you know what else I'd say as well? I think the biggest thing as well is when a lot of stuff affects us in our life, and we don't actually realise how much things do affect us. We can have mini traumas and big traumas, and the mini traumas can be just as big, and the mini traumas can be just as detrimental as big traumas. And what tends to happen when we have these experiences or moments, we start to think that we're an anxious person. We start to think we're a sad person, we're a depressed person. We start to create these beliefs of who we are. Whereas actually, when you deal with the trauma head on and you deal with it and you process it, you can handle the day. So I remember, like, literally when I talk about what had happened to me, I'd be depressed for days. And then when I dealt with everything like head on and worked through it and processed it, I don't have those days now. I used to feel like I was an anxious person. I used to feel like I was a worrier. I used to feel like I was a negative thinker. But I wasn't. Like, naturally now I'm a positive thinker. Very, very rarely do I get anxious. I don't have the days where I want to put my duvet over my head anymore. But again, I know that's purely only to do with working through the trauma that I've experienced.
But you've also done that work on yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, self-work is so important. And I think that's why a lot of coaches get mocked for working on themselves. But your self-work is the best work you'll ever do.
Definitely. No, that's really good to share that, because I think people listening to this, because this is what it's all about, people listening to it, so if they're going through, because like you say, we talk about adversity, everybody's had something. You know what I mean? And sometimes the smaller things can be more frustrating sometimes. So I remember reading a book years ago called Eat That Frog. I can't remember who wrote it now. But it was all around business. It was about, don't delay that thing. The most important, just eat that frog first thing in the morning. It's true, because you put it last because it's an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah.
You just do it straight away. You hold the rest of the day. It's like, yay, you know what I mean? And it's similar with things that you go through, I think. If you face it head on, actually afterwards you think, well, I've done that now and I've got through that. And you do.
Yeah.
So, no, it's really good to hear you share that. So tell us all about CFE.
Yeah. Okay, so for a lot of, I would say I've always been quite spiritual, and especially over the past 12 months, man, I've been down some rabbit holes. Some rabbit holes I've been down, but also like my mind is completely opened and expanded to just how spiritual and conscious that we are. Anyway, so I'm a psychic medium, and like I use that. I work with spirit. I call spirit in, and for when I discovered this, I only discovered it a couple of years ago through Tiff. Actually, like Tiff is the one who opened me up. Do you know Tiff?
What's funny is I've been getting the Kai retreat box for like the last year.
Oh no, you're on about Christy. That's Christy.
Yeah, sorry, Christy. And I didn't realise until I saw something of yours that you must have shared something. You know, when someone shares something, you just don't realise you go and buy something.
Yeah.
I didn't realise where you got it from. And then I saw her recently, I think, when you first launched the CFA stuff. So where I got it from.
But with that, so one thing I realized when I really started to embrace like mediumship, spirituality, and actually my intuition and brought it into strategy and structure, that's when the biggest success came. And that's when the rise has continued. That's where I've developed the faith frequency, the belief frequency. But prior to that, I'd always be on the entrepreneurial roller coaster. If I didn't have money, I'd be fretting. If I had money, I'd be buying a Ferrari. Then I'd have no money. I'd be thinking about getting the 9 to 5. Whereas when I started combining faith, belief, spirituality with business, it just took away that worry, completely and utterly took away that worry. When I started incorporating like morning rituals, daily practices, like lighting candles, moon ceremonies, everything utterly changed, because the world is full of magic, but you have to experience that magic to believe it. And the only way you believe it is just by being open to experiencing it. So this is something that I wanted to create for entrepreneurs to really encompass the magic of the world, because genuinely, like this past 2-3 years of coaching and setting everything up, and bearing in mind I'm like 8.5 months, 9 months pregnant nearly. I've just launched a business. But honestly, and I've got 4 children already. It's been nowhere near as stressful as it was when I first started out. Yeah. But I genuinely believe that is to do with having that belief and that faith. And okay, so if this doesn't work, why has it not worked? Okay, so the universe has got my back. It wants me to win. Why is it going to win? What does this mean? And just going back to your question, I realised I've waffled quite a bit there. Basically, I wanted to bring
understanding of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Created, really.
Yeah. But I wanted to bring spirituality and like mediumship, tarot, the moon meditations into a more mainstream commercial vibe, because everyone needs to experience the magic of the world. But I think through TV, society, culture, if you're spiritual, you're labelled as quack, or if you're spiritual, you're labelled as woo. Whereas actually, if you look at some of the most successful billionaires on the planet, they have shamans, they work with rituals, they have numerologies, like they work with astrology. So for me, when you follow that path of success, why do they use these people? Why do they work with these people? Because literally things are sometimes written in the stars.
Exactly. So tell everybody because I know you open the doors. I don't know when you're opening the doors.
So
all closed and then open.
Yeah, you can have a back door entry. So we opened the doors. God, that sounded awful, didn't it, actually? Purely for the membership, unless you pay an extra. I'm joking there, clearly. With the membership. So we opened it the 1st of January, 1/1, to the 11th of January for 11 days at 11 o'clock. Then we closed it at 11 minutes past 11 because I like numerology myself. And then it's not opening again till June. However, one thing that I've been talking to Beck about, who's just freaking amazing, she's like organised my whole life. When the baby's born, we're going to open it for 24 hours only, because I love the symbolism. Like literally, when you birth a new project or you birth a child, it's the same. They're both your babies. Yeah. So literally, yeah. So we're opening up for 24 hours and then back in June. And it's literally, it's a membership which combines spiritual masterclasses, such as breath work, meeting your spirit guides, also with business strategy. So again, the stuff that you'll be doing, so teaching how to create Amazon stores, teaching how to sell on Amazon. Then we have people teaching how to build websites, how to get free PR, how to grow your social media. So it's very much spiritual and strategy combined.
And so how do people find out about it? I know you've obviously got the free group, haven't you?
Yes. So we've got the Conscious Female Entrepreneurs Facebook group, which is completely free to join. You just type in Conscious Female Entrepreneurs. And then we've also got the Instagram, which is, again, Conscious Female Entrepreneurs.
And I know that your Instagram is like your place, really, isn't it? That's where you mainly hang out. I know you've got LinkedIn and Facebook. I've seen you everywhere.
Well, do you know what? So with my coaching's very much Instagram, Jessica C. Whereas with Conscious Female Entrepreneurs is my group. My free group. I absolutely love it. I love everyone, and that's where I would say I've built everything.
Great, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll put, for everyone listening to this who's like, oh, that sounds interesting, we'll put the link in the comment section for the Conscious Female Entrepreneurs free group, so that anybody who wants to join that group can dive straight in.
Yeah,
I'm super excited because I've just got involved with. I'm actually starting to map it all out at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Because Beck said I've got to get it all recorded by in a few weeks. So and I don't want to leave it till last minute like I normally do. So I'm going to be doing some stuff around Etsy and Amazon as well. So anyone listen to this, so there's loads of stuff in that. Because you've also got Danny Wallace as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Got some really people in there. I think it's a great value for people who want to just,
it's amazing value. Like literally, we have yourself and the other coaches charge like thousands of pounds to work with, and they literally, our members have this amazing access. And I know when you came into the awakening of the Alpha Femme, literally all the women were raving about you. And actually, that's probably the first time I've seen you just coach and with your knowledge and everything. And me and my sister were like, we're going to work with her now. Yeah, it's been about the baby. I'm going to be working with you when I've got my calendars done.
Yeah, no, it's all exciting. I'm super excited about it. I love how this has all come together. So yeah, anyone listen to this, we'll put all the information in the notes. So if you're listening on iTunes, in the show notes, if you're on YouTube, it's in the comments. So you've got the links there. Final thing then, because I know your time is precious, is I always ask everybody at the end of the interview, what does freedom mean to you? Because when I first chose this podcast name, I thought, you see all these like digital marketers online, like freedom, $1 million in 90 days. And it was putting me off that word, you know what I mean? Like, freedom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Coming back to it, because I was like, I really do feel like I have got that freedom in my life now. So that was why I put it together. And I really love asking this question because everyone has different answers. So what does freedom mean to Jess?
Living life without limitations and living it on your terms. I think that's like the ultimate freedom. I think that's the thing as well. We can get so caught up with the money aspect that we forget that a lot of stuff is actually accessible freely. And I think sometimes when you have no money, that's when you get the most stuff done because you may as well find it. Whereas having money definitely makes things easier, 100%. And having money, it allows you to do stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to do. But literally, if you can live your life with freedom and with it making your own choices and with integrity, that's one of the biggest things. But well, for me anyway. Brilliant. What does it mean to you, Anna?
Oh, it keeps changing. Actually,
look at back.
I just think it's about freedom to be who I want to be. Like just freedom to. I think as you go along your journey, because it's definitely not about financially free. I just feel like I'm free to be able to impact whoever I want to impact. Because I have this goal this year that I want to impact 1 million women globally.
I have that goal, but not this year. I'm thinking, I don't think I can quite conquer that this year.
I'm going to monitor it by the podcast downloads. And it's all women that listen to this, but it's mainly women, I think. So,
do you know what my goal is? So I wanted, when I first set CFE up, I wanted to get 1 million women making the first 100 grand. So I'm about 100 women in there so far.
It's good. Cool, brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you for having me on. You're amazing.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And if you want to get more freedom in your life, then come and join Your Freedom Project Facebook group, which the link is below in the comments section. And I am giving you a copy of my visualization manifesting book. So manifest more freedom in your life and live the life of your dreams.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast.